Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numeral Beta. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now. On Sunday, October 9th, in Stone Mountain Village from 2 to 7 p.m., Papa Ashwa Kwesi and the Red Pillar will be in Stone Mountain. Get your tickets through Linktree/King Simon the Numero Beta, or text now at 347-496-1022. Get your tickets now. It's the Numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022, and get my books on Amazon now. Hey, remember, you can get my books also through Linktree. That's right, family. How you feeling? How you feeling tonight? At the top of the hour, we got the one, the only Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine, Grandmaster of Metaphysics Underground, started in New York back in the day. And of course, we have a special guest co-host and testimonial by Dr. Shakirah F. Moore. And of course, the theme today and the topic is education versus dead-u-cation. So you know what it is, family. You know what it is. And you know, as I always say, I'm going to start this from the beginning. Remember, family, right now, this is what y'all need to do, because Baba Phil is coming up and ready to burn. Thumb up, share, and like this broadcast to build the algorithms. Remember, sharing is caring. And Dr. Phil is going to be coming with it. And respectfully, this is a troll-free zone. So trolls, please take a stroll somewhere else. I'm quick with the trigger when it comes to deleting trolls or blocking trolls. So, and if you are worthy to spread love and you do enjoy the program, please spread love via the Cash App and the PayPal, as you see on the screen. Spread love, you know the deal. But remember, thumb up, share, and like this video. This is going to be one of those shows, I'm telling you right now. And once again, also, please save your questions until we ask for it. Thanks for watching. As usual, please, we'll more likely put this on the screen when we're ready for your questions to be asked in the chat. But please, once again, save your questions until we ask for it. And as we continue, before we bring them up, we got at least another 9 minutes. Don't forget, if you are in Brooklyn, New York, family, if you're in Brooklyn, New York, make sure you support the one, the only Zaza Ali in Brooklyn, at Nicholas Brooklyn, courtesy of Alchemy Publishing. And of course, Nicholas Brooklyn is going to be over there at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York, in the Restoration Plaza. So make sure you show them some love from 6 to 9 on September the 24th. Enough respect to Nicholas, Monique, and the whole staff over there, and enough respect to Zaza Ali going back to support Nicholas Brooklyn as usual, as we used to do all the time in New York City. Don't forget this coming Sunday, September the 25th. On Sunday, the September 25th, we had to postpone it until this day, so we got the one, the only Vicky Dillard coming in the building, the spiritual guru herself, on the air personality, who'll be bringing the gavel and the gauntlet down on some these micros out there. So you know what it is. And don't forget, if you can make it out to Georgia, this is going to be the one of my first major events that I'm doing in Georgia with, and I could choose no other than the one, the only Baba Ashra Kwesi and Brother Red Pill, who lives in Georgia. But also Baba Ashra Kwesi will be coming with some very interesting new remix of the information, ancient African history, the origin of Masonry and the Masonic order. So all of you people that's into all the symbolism from the Greeks, the freaks, the Masonics, and all the stuff, Dr. Ashra Kwesi is just going to reveal the symbolism of where it all came from, and where it stemmed from, if you've never seen one of those lectures. And then, of course, he got a new presentation that because Shakirah, the step pyramids, has been opened after 14 years, 41 years. He's going to have some great pictures to show you, some pictorials to show you on this particular day also. We're going to be doing an opening libation, myself and High Heels. The Oracle Connect herself will be there. And DJ Madaraka is supposed to be there also. So we're going to be spinning some nice African. It's going to be an excellent presentation. So make sure y'all have a good time, and y'all going to see how King Simon do what he do, all right? At 5380 Studios. So make sure you go to Linktree / King Simon the Numero Veda. That's Linktree / King Simon the Numero Veda. If you want to find your tickets right now, go get your tickets right now at Linktree / King Simon Numero Veda. At the door is $40, cash door only. We're not accepting any credit cards, no Cash App, no PayPal, but you can do advance tickets through Eventbrite and also Cash App and PayPal if you choose to do so. All right, just want to let y'all know. Vendors, we still welcoming some vendors. No food vendors, thank you. We still welcoming food vendors right now. So make sure you go and give me a text if you're a vendor and you got some great wares you want to share. Come on and text me. That'll be, and everybody will be welcome to watch Baba Ashra Kwesi in the venue. And remember, I'll have him on my show on September the 21st. Right here on King Simon Presents Only Quality People. Big up to Professor Griff, who will also be vending at the event. So if you want to get this new book and all the other books he's written and products, You Are the Song You Sing, make sure you go to his website, professorgriff.com, or give him a call at 678-557-2919 and tell him King Simon sent ya. And big up to KT, Mr. G, and of course, special guest will be the one, the only Victor Bowman. Solar Gate tribute and salute to Dr. Sabi on November the 26th in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be there, and a whole host of people is going to be there. So make sure you get your early bird tickets right now at that website on the top, Soul Onyx Botanical at .com / events. And this is supposed to be coming to Florida. I might turn it on online. I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure yet, because the venues that we're trying to get, they're charging an exuberant amount of money, and we're just trying to keep it simple. Come from the beach and then go to a venue. But we're thinking about doing it still. I'm still thinking about doing it right now. And if you want that 1 day price, if you want to just show up for the 4th, if I can get that venue for it, you can pay $111.11. But if you want to come and enjoy the 2 day celebration and hang out with us, do the meet and greet and all that kind of stuff at different places, boom, all you have to do is pay the full price, which is $199, all the way to the last day of price, which is $222, to come hang out with Billy Carson, Ellison Nedra, King Simon, Dina Divine, and Joshua Sarah. Hey, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna still do it. I might just do it online and keep it simple. I'll know by the end of this month. After the retrograde. Okay, family. So do pay attention, and don't forget, go to the statement tees for vegans and all kinds of stuff. Go to teesandtings.com. Make sure you show them some love. All right, and also look at that. Lloyd Strayhorn, my brother, is in the building. Make sure you hit him up. He had Queen of Four on his show. Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Make sure you get my books. Take my Udemy course, which is a reasonable price on Udemy because it's only 2 hours. You're not getting the full course, but go to Udemy and put in the word numerovation, and you'll see I'm the only one teaching it. If you want the full course and you really want to learn this, all you have to do is text me the word course to 347-496-1022. I see my co-host in the back there looking all good and nice. Woo! Gemini's, hey, trouble. Remember, you can get all my books at Linktree / King Simon the Numero. Don't blush, girl. Stop playing. Linktree, the Numero Veda, King Simon, the Numero Veda at Linktree. And make sure you hit me up. And if you want to do a session with me, text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Remember, Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions held by expressed by these guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. And disclaimer: copyright disclaimer under section of 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Family, are you ready? As we get ready for Baba Phil Valentine to come on up, are you ready, my people? Let's show my face in the field, man. Hey, what up? What up? What up? Don't sweat the groove, baby. Don't sweat the groove. The real Naga is in the bay. The real Negos is in the building. 100% real Negos is in the building. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? I hope y'all are feeling good, as I'm feeling great. Y'all looking good out there. Y'all are piling up, piling up, piling up. Let me turn that down, and big up to everybody that's on and watching on Facebook at King Simon Presents, and also at King Simon Production, and those that are watching also at Numbers Are Simple with King Simon on my YouTube channel, and especially those that are chiming in right here on King Simon Presents. Only quality people. Let's give that a round of applause. Yeah, baby. And without any further ado, I want to bring on one of my guests, co-hosts, beautiful, wonderful sister that's about to come on. And she's been on my show. Y'all seen her. She's an superstar iridologist for celebrities and all that good stuff. She's a master iridologist. She's a mother. She's a natural health practitioner and martial artist. So you know what not to do. Don't step to the wrong person and get your head rocked, you know, but we about that peace, to tell you the truth. So let's welcome right here back on King Simon Presents, only quality people, the one, the only, the holistic guy healer herself, Dr. Shakirah F. More in the building. Yeah.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
How's everybody doing?
Gratitude without attitude, girl. Gratitude without attitude. That's what we doing here.
That is the attitude. Absolutely.
All right. I'm loving the outfit. I'm loving the outfit. She's so special. She's so special, so special, so special. 2 minutes before Baba come in, I see Baba in the back screen already. But how you doing? How was your day, Shakirah?
All is well. All is well in my universe. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. Found out a lot of stuff. One of my friends before I bring on Dr. Phil, one of my friends in the magazine newspaper business out of New York, Kenton Kirby from out of Grenada, he was the publisher of Caribbean Life, died recently, transitioned recently. He had me in that newspaper. He always came out and supported my shows at SOBs and all the major reggae shows he supported, even celebrated my 10th anniversary at SOBs with me. And I remember talking to him recently before he transitioned, like a year ago, and he was doing headstands, and I guess he got injured. I guess he did the headstand wrong, got injured, and then all of a sudden everything went downhill. But now he transitioned, and matter of fact, they're having a funeral this week right up the block from my mother's house, but I can't make it out there. But and the new publisher and editor of the magazine is a good friend of mine also. Big up to Patrick Butterton, who took over that. So, you know, I've been in this business for a long time, and I'm losing friends here, reggae artists from, of course, Israel Vibration, Aswad, people that I've connected with over the years in the business. And it's just a very touching thing. And then we lost another brother of ours in the metaphysics world, which we'll talk about soon as Baba Phil, because he used to work with Baba Phil all the time. And it's 1 minute before 8 o'clock, family. You know, I'm about to bring some heat. I'm going to bring that heat. Give me that heat, because Baba Phil Valentine about to come in. You know, and this is his website, especially for the homeschooling, ismhomeschooling.org, and of course the other website is www.uksnow.org. I am so honored to bring one of my grandmasters of the metaphysics, who started it right there in New York City, the one, the only Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine.
How
Baba.
you doing?
You know how
How
I
you
do.
doing? Greetings, Baba Phil. It's an honor,
How you,
always,
Mm,
always.
how you been, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Trying
sir.
to maintain, as always.
Yes. We're
Just,
hearing.
reeling from the sad news.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully his transition was not a painful one.
Yes, and those that don't know, who just transitioned, was our dear brother Azariah Bey. This brother here was so much of a support to us in the so-called conscious community from way back. And he and Majade, I was talking to her, texting her today. So she's just too emotional for her to get on. Although they're not together anymore. Enough respect to Majade, who was in that relationship with that brother. They used to take people through the funeral homes and and not just the funeral homes, but through the cemeteries and show you where the ancestors are and leave different things. And he had so many magical things that he was doing. And I know he worked with you. Tell us some story about Azariah, my brother, that you remember, because I know you worked with him on a few
Yeah,
occasions.
he used to support as well as to come together with Brother Big Man
Yes. Hmm.
and would put together shows,
Yes.
sponsor me in Harlem,
Hmm.
and he was a fixture on 125th Street off Lenox Avenue.
Yes.
And you can go to his table, and you would have books. In fact, he was one of the first to actually uh, help me to promote The Wounded Womb when it was
Yes.
actually a folio of about 300 pages before I had
Yes.
expanded it into 1,500 pages and then broke it down to 700.
Yes.
He was one of the people who were,
Hmm.
out there teaching people the mastery in metaphysics
Yes.
and giving people, understanding how to heal through emotions,
Yes.
dealing with certain herbs and so forth. But again, every time we had, health fairs, beautiful fairs that we dealt with where people were coming together, African Street Festival,
Yes.
everything, he
Yes.
was there. He
Yes.
was there and he was a fixture. If you did not see him there, you knew, he was either on his way or something had happened and he couldn't make it at that time.
Yes.
But as a fixture in the underground metaphysical community, as well as a fixture in the cultural community, as a Bin Bey,
Yes.
we will miss you. I know you're among the ancestors, and we can call upon you for guidance from the alternate universe.
That's right. He was a practicing more science practitioner. Also, he believed in the knowledge, but he also studied heavily in the metaphysics. And he would do a lot of different events at the National Black Theater. He also worked with Infundishi Jahutamas over there at his Black Gold at that time on 125th. Of
Yes.
course, he's worked with you, Daoud, who just passed on, and man, it's so many people. Of course, Dr. Africa, he's worked with a lot of people, brother. So he's going to be truly missed. He was one of those guys with Brother Big Man. Of course, Shabazz sent his condolences. He couldn't come on. He's in the dojo training right now with Grandmaster Oliver. So it
Ah,
is what it. Yeah, they still him and Diane, Grandmaster Oliver and Grandmaster Diane are still doing their thing, and
beautiful, beautiful.
he's one of the chief trainers over there at the dojo. So big up to Brother Shabazz, who used to do all the events at, of course, at LIU back in the day, with of course Black Dot and of course all the people that was on the lineup with them. So it's just he only the last time I seen him was at Brother Rich's event, but he had came late and there was no more room. So I had to tell him, I had to give him that and tell him there was no more room. And when I got to Brother Rich, he said, "Oh man, we could have made room for him," and then he had left. And so I was so, I tried to apologize to him, and he kind of, he felt a little hurt because, I did tell him a long time ago, yo, pay for your thing so you can be there, because I know I have had short space at that what you call St. Francis School,
Francis
and
College, yeah.
he walked off, and I couldn't get back. I didn't know where he went. I think he got back in his car and drove. But I know that was upsetting to me to even do that because and I tried to apologize, and he didn't want to hear I'm just being honest. Didn't want to hear my apology because he was part of the building structure of this consciousness, and
Mhm.
I couldn't get the Rich on time to let him know what was happening. And then by the time Rich came to the door, he had left, and that was the last time. And then everything he just disappeared. But I do send salute and respect to him and his beloved former wife, Jade, who still, like she exclaimed to me on the text, that she still loved him. She learned a lot from him. Put it like that. She learned
Indeed,
a lot.
indeed.
And
I didn't know that Brother Daoud had made his transition
yeah,
either.
yes, he did made his transition about a couple months. I thought we told you. I know there was a few rumors first, and then the real transition happened.
Okay.
There was a few rumors. I called you about the rumor,
Yeah,
and
I know
then
it's a rumor, but I didn't know
I
it
talked to him.
actually happened. Right.
It really did happen. I thought, I forgot. So much was that because we was losing so many people within these last few years. It was just so much to keep
Well,
on
remember we
doing.
said that. We
Yes,
told
sir.
you. Remember. I think it was a few years back. I said a lot of brothers and sisters in the spiritual community were making that transition
Yeah.
because we're going to need spiritual protection
Yes.
and strength from the other side,
To fight. Yep.
and we're going to have to call upon familiar voices and faces
That's right.
that have made that transition to aid us
Right. That's
in
right.
the next stage, because this next stage is going to be heavy.
Yeah, and there was a lot of martial artists that transitioned. The Kalindi, Baba Kalindi, Rico Guy, a lot of the
Yes,
great ones was passing on. So definitely, if there's a lot of them going on, there's a lot of fight that's going to take place. That's all I know.
indeed, indeed.
And I'm going to be doing a show with Brother Asir Ducatis because he said something real key to me the other day, today actually. He said, we are the next elders.
Yeah,
King Solomon. He said that to me because he said, you're the last of the Mohicans. Yes, you're one of the last of the
yeah.
Mohicans.
I'm one of the elders that came from the generation that studied at the feet of Dr. Ben and Dr.
Yeah,
Clark
exactly.
and Krishnamurti. And
Yes.
so from that eldership, we passed the torch to you, Brother Rich,
Yeah.
and a lot of the other young brothers that are out there now. And you're going to be passing it to Shakirah and
Yes.
everybody else from that point forward. So
That's right.
the torch has to stay lit,
Yes. That's
and
the
it has to
statement.
stay lit in the hearts and minds of the people that we ignite it in.
Hmm.
And our job is to ignite the light and the fire within each of the young people that are actually listening. They're gonna find us. There's
Yes.
gonna be darkness in this world, and we're gonna be holding on to little embers of light that are gonna spread.
Hmm.
You'll
Right.
see.
No, I mean I'm recognizing it. I'm seeing it in the dreams. I'm seeing a lot, and especially in the astral realm, a lot of different things. But no matter what's going on, we'll be all right. That's what I
Indeed,
noticed. We'll definitely be all right, no matter what's going on.
indeed.
And Shakira, you want to say, please, if you want to talk, say anything to Baba, please. Okay, because we here thinking about all kinds of past stuff. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no. I'm listening, and a lot of it, sound familiar. A lot of the names, some of the names.
Yes,
I won't
yes,
say a lot of it, but some of the names sounded familiar. But
right.
at this time, I just flowing
Taking
with
it
the
in.
conversation. Yeah, I don't
Well,
have any specific questions for
well,
Baba.
your mom came from that era, so your mom knew Phil. Your mom
Yes,
knew all the Azariahs, knew all of those people in New York.
and
She,
when Baba, when you said that a lot of
hmm
people are transitioning during this time, I thought about my mom
yes,
because it just seems so to me so soon, and
hmm
so I do have the connect. I actually have, I would say, a stronger connection to
mm,
her from in the spirit realm of I
Yeah,
can call on her, and she guides me. I can literally hear her, especially if I'm about to make a decision that's not a wise one, and I can still hear her voice like, hey, just
right,
like how she used to talk to me on the physical realm. So I actually felt that, when you
mm,
said that.
hmm
mm.
yeah,
Baba, our theme for today, of course, and I want everybody to, of course, those that seen the flyer, the theme of today is education versus deducation.
hmm
Because we
Mm.
know whatever they're serving up is killing our minds of our children, is killing the minds of our people, and leading some of our children in from public school to the prison pipeline, from public school to the rap music that is now killing more rappers. Now more rappers are
yeah,
just
yeah.
dying out of nowhere
I
because
heard
of,
I heard that a lot of them are getting killed now.
yeah, taken out at a young age. So, family, this was it. This was the flyer y'all seen out there, and this is what we're talking about saving our children's mind. And I brought on Dr. Shakira because she, her daughter's also in your school, and she's also a product of you know, the unvaccination, the promotion of not being vaccinated through your mother, through her mother, through you. And of course, my children are also a part of that. And you know, I want you to really go in on the education of this, because you have a school, an online school, and an online university. Why is it so important that we really focus on what we need to build the child's mind and the multiplicity of ways that we need to do it, so they don't go down that road of the dead mentality and doing the crazy stuff that they're starting to do in the street more? How does education, especially from your perspective, how does that work for these young people?
Well, it's a good question, because what we have to do is we have to create the let's say the progression from the time the child is able to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and then from a point where the child then, through that curiosity, and you can then see and see the gifts that the child expresses,
Mm-hmm.
nurture those gifts in math and in whatever arts and so forth. And then the problem with us is that as soon as we nurture and bring that genius out of our children, we then cast them into a world where we don't have any power.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have businesses. We don't have circumstances where the child can automatically segue from our learning institutions into those institutions that would then be able to help them to grow and to expand their gifts in adulthood. We can help them as children,
Yes.
but then after we have given them all those gifts, we end up giving them over to someone else to exploit.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't bring those gifts and what those gifts would then give us in the form of monies and currencies and power, political as well. We don't nurture that, and that doesn't come back to our community. We are constantly giving gifts to everyone else, and then they pay our children, especially athletes, tens of millions of dollars that don't come back to our community.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones I knew that actually did that was Wu-Tang,
Yes.
when they
Yes.
came back to their community to rebuild it.
Yes.
So first of all, we don't teach our children to be employers.
Mm.
They teach our children to be employees for their children.
Mm-hmm.
So those who run the education system, or as I've always called it, the deducation system,
Yes.
those who run that kill the incentive, they kill the genius,
Mm-hmm.
and they subdue it so that it becomes subservient to their paradigm.
Yes.
And then they teach their children to be the 1%. They give those children the ability to solve problems, where they only teach our children to ask help them solve the problems for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the education system we set up, first of all, has a cultural perspective and a balance that has them seeing our faces, has them understanding the history behind mathematics and the society itself, philosophy, metaphysics, everything we teach, sciences, all of that
Mm-hmm.
brings it back to us, so the children do not feel alienated.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to show the problem solver and the one who is the benefactor to their knowledge and to their lifestyle and so forth as the European, he or she is going to always look to the European and not back to us or to our own as the qualifiers for their existence, as the qualifiers for their worth. We're always looking to the European and waiting for some kind of validation of worth.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't teach our children constantly how great they are and then wait for the other or the adversary to give them validation of worth. We have to actually set up the gigantic institutions, the corporations, the things that will segue our children from the time that they're in the cradle all the way into the workforce. And this is what we're attempting to do at the very beginning, of course. with our university and our Institute for Self-Mastery.
And you've been doing it for a long time. You were one of the first to set up an online university.
Indeed, yes, we were the first actually
Hmm.
in 2005,
Hmm.
uh, before the big universities were actually creating online homeschool in universities. We had taken, you've heard me say many times before, we
Hmm.
had taken a technology that was being used by the CEOs of great mega corporations when they communicated to their satellite corporations, and we took that very expensive at that time,
Hmm.
and we really dug deep in our pockets, went into our savings, and we put down it was like $2,500 a month to actually do this. But at that time, when we said that we were going to do a school on the computer, it was novel.
Hmm.
Everybody was saying, "Oh, wow, okay, well, let's see what it is." And we had students from all around the world,
Hmm.
and it took off very well. And we would have 10, 20, 30 students. And
Hmm.
essentially, the technology began paying for itself.
Hmm.
And of course, now it became the more that the internet expanded, and the more diverse it became, and it kind of lessened at that time. But we
Hmm.
never changed our prices. We
Hmm.
never really took ourselves out of the actual running. And
Hmm.
in fact, the all the schools that you see that started online universities are actually charging their students the same price that we charge monthly.
Mm.
We started back in 2005 and
Hmm.
actually launched at the early part of January of 2006.
Hmm.
So right now, anybody who joins our school is 16 years old, going on 17 years old. So we
Hmm.
are online university.
Commend that. I commend that. I have to applaud that, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go
It's
ahead.
yeah, going on 17 years.
Hmm.
And the overall school, as you know, we used to teach at Queen Afua's when we used to be together over
Yes.
down on Ocean Avenue,
Hmm.
and then we moved into my home.
Yeah,
I would teach metaphysics then as well.
that's right.
So it was about 35, nearly 40 years I was teaching metaphysical schools in the underground.
I mean, and people, yesterday I was on a live last night around 2 o'clock, and a lot of people didn't know you and Queen was together. I could tell there's a lot of new people. So I had to take out your book, The Wounded Wound, and show some pictures and prove that Dr.
Oh yeah, we have we have our wedding picture with
Yes,
Gary
with
Bird,
Gary Bird in the
our
book.
best man. Yeah,
In that book, people. It's in the book. I
yeah,
seen Gary Bird, and of course, you was with Dr. Oibo and all kinds
yeah.
of great
Oh
people.
yeah,
Dr. Clark,
Dr.
everybody was in
Oyevo.
there.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
the
were
great
Stevie Wonder dropped
Stevie
by.
Wonder was there. Yes, Brandy
Yeah,
was in the pictures in the book.
Randy.
It's in the book. It's in the book. Go
Um,
get the book, man. We stop playing with the book. Go get the wound, the wound. Go ahead, Dr. Shakirah, please. Go ahead, share
Yes,
your.
yes. I have the book. I didn't get that far, so
but it's all the way at the back.
In the back. It
yeah,
is in the
yeah.
back.
I'm still reading. I have a question. I believe this definitely going to help
Mhm.
a lot of single parents. So what kind of advice can you give for a parent who the single parent who wants to homeschool, but they
Mhm.
work, and these are a lot of things that sometimes may hinder that process. I know it did for my mother. She wanted to homeschool me and my brother, and she wasn't able to.
Yeah, what we do, we always recommend that if we can't help what took place beforehand, and we can't sociologically help with family matters except to provide a solution that hopefully people can actually take advantage of.
Hmm.
Mhm.
What we do recommend to, say, mothers or fathers is that if you have to work and then your children, you know, have to go to these different schools, you want to debrief them when they come home.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what my mother. Yes, my mother had to undo everything that the school did. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I
Hmm.
remember your mother was saying, your mother and a lot of the other mothers were also asking how do I address what the children are learning in school? What do I say to them? When I always talk to them about debriefing, because when my first child, Mika, she she went to school under the assistance of her mother. Her mother wanted her to go to school, and I wanted to teach her at home, but I just said, okay, let her go ahead, because pretty much Mika went the way her mother was, who was a school teacher and so forth. So I used to always debrief her when she came home. What did you learn? Tell me what you learned. What did you write? And then I would get an idea of what the teacher and the school's curricula was actually trying to lead my child's mind towards. What was the end result of it? But what happened was, because my wife at that time, Charlene, was a school teacher, and my daughter was extremely brilliant and was an incredible dancer. She went to a school where she and Mos Def were together. Mos Def went to this school for the gifted. I forgot the name of it, but my daughter was there with him, and they used to. They used to be. He used to be. The circle of the girls that she had used to be his mother. They used to protect him and watch over him and so forth. And but she had the scholarship, and oh wow, the name just is not.
And you remember Mos Def's aunt and Talib Kweli's mother had the bookstore on Flatbush.
On
Remember
Flatbush Avenue, yes.
That's right. They had
And so what happened was she got very disappointed when she did a magnificent dance with Twala Tharp. That was awesome, and of course they gave it to this little European girl, because the little European girl did ballet, whereas my daughter did interpretation. Incredible interpretation, leaps, splits, and the child was very young at that time, and they were just amazed, and so that kind of broke her. But then she went to a school there in Manhattan, Fashion Institute, graduated from there. But then she went down to the University of Virginia first, and then she got her bachelor's, and then came up to the university, and then came up to Fashion Institute, and then got her, her master's. So she's teaching now, but because she doesn't do, the big V, and that point, they didn't want her to teach with the children straight up anymore. So she misses that one-to-one with the children. Now, my son, Amen, I told my wife at that time, no. My son was so brilliant, he finished his high school when he was 14 years old. And I think he was 14 years old, going on 15. And they allowed him to take the high school equivalency. He got 3 wrong, 2 on the English, 1 on the math.
Wow!
And he was the youngest in that room. That when I left him in that room, it was all these adults, and this poor young little boy was took it.
Big up the Bam, my brother, Bam Valentine. Amen.
He was very good at math.
Yeah,
and he was homeschooled by a beautiful woman. Her name was Gail Newby, and she was. I was so lucky to have her help me, because she used to teach the adults to get their high school equivalency. So it was a great fit. And since my son actually started school with Abu Kafra was his first teacher. When my wife at that time insisted that at least let him check out being in school. When he went to school, he was doing Tai Chi and yoga. So when they told him to do some expression, he would be doing headstands in yogic positions, typical yoga, and their kids would laugh at him. And so I said, you know what, take my son out of school. So we gave him over to the Sister Gail Newby. He aced it. And then at 16 years of age, he asked me permission. Dad, can I leave? Can I find my own way? At 16, he left, got his own little apartment, a little 1-room apartment.
He's a Leo now. He's a Leo, so y'all know what that means.
He said, I want to go out there and do it myself. And I said, okay, and I wouldn't have done it unless I knew he was mature, because I grew him to be his own master. And then all of a sudden, I find out that he had his own business. He was the one that was actually getting all the girls to do the videos for, the rappers and everyone. And for all of them hired, he'd get a cut. One of the girls, he'd get a cut, and he had his little bank account, when he was 16, 17, and he's been doing it around the world ever since. He just came out from Canada for a 200,000 people showed up at his at this particular concert that was being held that he choreographed. He went over to China and choreographed an entire show for the Chinese for 10,000 people. And like I said, he's doing this thing, and now he wants to do acting. So,
and people, you know, he's in Law and Order, people. So he's in Law and Order. He is
and
in Law and Order.
And in Blue Bloods.
And Blue Bloods, yes. Big up to my brother. Man, we're gonna get him back on again. You know, I love my brother. Surprised him with his martial arts teacher the last time. Osei came on. Soke Osei came on. I trained with Soke, so I know what that is. So we go back from when he was a little child throwing people around.
Bam was crazy. But
that's why they call him Bam, because everything was Bam.
I told you what, you know, it's so funny because, you know, my wife and I at that time, we used to keep him in his crib, and he didn't like being in the crib.
No.
So one day we were there, we thought he went to sleep. He had his nap. I think it was 2.5, 3. He was in his crib. We heard bang, clam, bang, sang, bang. And when we came upstairs, he was sitting in the crib, and the ribs of the crib were in his hands. He had torn the bad boy apart. And we're looking at it, and we say, I was saying that crib that was a heavy crib. That cost money. And he's just looking at us like, you know, what? You know, and he had these sticks in his hand. Bam! Bam, bam.
Oh man, see, and that's a great story and that's a great story because you homeschooled them, you pulled them out of a school because you know they was trying to destroy his energies and all that. And you know, Bob, a lot of what I've noticed with a lot of the children between 15 and 17, they're sounding the same. They're dragging their voice. Yeah. It's sounding like they sound like the mumble rap. Let's put it like that. They sound like all of them mumbling, and they sound like. And no disrespect to y'all. Y'all got your own era of music, and sometimes back in the day, our parents disrespected our era. What is that going on? And I keep on telling my children's mothers. Notice I said children's mothers. I keep on telling them that it's what they're listening to and what they're picking up on. I'm telling you, and it's the food they eat. It's a whole nutritional and what's going on in school. What do you feel that is, Bob? Because you're a researcher and you've been digging deep for a long time in this educational realm.
Well, you know, this is funny because you should say that as far as the music was concerned, as we came up, when my child, when Mika was coming up, she was weaned on Earth, Wind, and Fire, on War, on you know the OJs, you know Delphonics. She was weaned on our music that had music, singing, Teddy Pendergrass. Our children, the children of that generation, was weaned on somebody saying something about love. That there was actually music with different tones, different instruments that were actually kicking in, horns, pianos, violins. Today it's just a drum, possibly, with a couple of squeaks of music and here and there, and the voice. Not to say anything about that, but that was co-opted after a while.
Yeah.
So they did experiments about what music does to the mind and its development. And they found out that the more you dumb down the music of a generation, the more that generation begins to reflect what you did to the music that actually helped to form the synaptic connections to their reality, to their emotions. And very few synaptic connections, especially that made you more empathetic. Our music made us more empathetic.
Yes, it did.
Children, because they don't have the nuances of the violins and the different tones and different movements of music, they did not develop the empathy, which is that cold energy that they've gotten.
They're very disconnected. Yeah,
they're very, there's this disconnect, and it's a very, very, it's a sad thing to watch. They got to bring, I would say, bring the violins and the music and the guitars and the different pianos that they taught in school. Bring it back to school.
Yes, they took it out. That's right.
They took it out, and it was purposely done that way.
Of course.
But for what you were saying, just to understand what that music did, it stultified certain spiritual growth.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and the thing is, and it's funny you should say that, because it's funny because when I listen, you know, my son tells me, you know, Dad, you should listen to some of the barbershop talks.
Yes. Yes.
And the barbershop talks are interesting because when I listen to the barbershop talks,
That's Matt Hoffa. Matt Hoffa from all the old rappers and all of them. That's
yeah,
yeah. Yes. Yes. Matt
and
Hoffa.
the
I love to
only
hear.
conversation I get as a fundamental conversation is surviving, not getting killed.
Yep. That's what it is.
And I'm saying, wait a minute, if that's all you have to do when you start talking about music business is war stories,
Mm.
that does not tell us anything about what that generation actually gave to the next generation, because
Mm-hmm.
music began deteriorating from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you know, Sugar's coming in, you know, and you crip walking and you talking gangs, it just installed what was
Mm-hmm.
the worst part of us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you talk about you went if back in the day when you had a conversation and you wanted to talk to a musician, you talked to Maurice White.
Yes.
He would talk about what music was about, what he did in the studio to
Yes.
bring out all the great music he did.
I watched the interview with Barry White. Yo, Barry White
Oh,
had some powerful orchestras, and he
oh,
just said he listened to this, and his voice is very penetrable. So it's like, you know, what I mean,
yeah,
like, and I did this, and you know, I'm the God, I'm God, you know, and when you bring
yeah,
God out of music, that's when you would create. And I mean, he's saying it and breaking it down. And when you even analyze Little Richard and all the stuff that he did, and James Brown, and this, I mean, you can't dance. I remember one time, Imam Isa, aka Dr. York, said, you play some James Brown and some white folks back in the 80s. They could not dance to that funk.
no, they couldn't.
They
They didn't
couldn't
know what
dance
it
to
was.
funk.
You know why? Because their
Mm,
wiring wasn't wired to our music. They
exactly.
could not understand what was it. They couldn't get inside it on the downbeat.
Yes.
And they had if you looked at it back in those days, they used to drop feet on the ground
Yes.
so that they would then follow how we would dance,
Like the bus stop. They was doing the
like
bus
bus
stop.
stop, you know,
And we was doing this. On the
or the
Macarena,
or
that's
the
how they learned to
Macarena.
dance. The Macarena. They wanted to learn to dance. They were Macarena. Yeah, Macarena. All right.
All right.
What the hell is all right with that?
But
But
like I said, it used to disrupt them,
yes.
and when and it really pissed off. What's his name? What's the European guy that used to have the dance thing before
You mean American Bandstand?
American Bandstand?
Big
And that
talk,
was
big talk.
before, yeah, before Cornelius came in
Before
on the
Don
picture
Cornelius, right,
and
right,
just
right.
took it away from him.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, and that's the part of it now. You know, when we, you know, like we said, you know, the black man, you want to call us that, the
Mhm.
black man is as an employee. We, the music business, essentially, we essentially made billionaires out of everybody else but ourselves, and they
Mhm.
chose maybe one or two people to be billionaires.
Right. Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and they
Hmm.
call them moguls,
Yes.
rap moguls, and this kind of nonsense. And again, we don't own the record companies, and if we do own the record companies, we go and find the worst thug from the
Hmm.
worst neighborhoods, and then give them all this money that essentially doesn't do anything but put more money back into those people who exploit us.
Mm. And this is all about and why this is so important, family. Those that are just tuning in, we have the one, the only Dr. Valentine in the building. Grandmaster of Metaphysics, the underground metaphysics world from back in New York days, naturopathic. I know you got a whole long dissertation for that health. So I'm not a natural health practitioner. I'm just gonna stay there. Author, all of that and more.
Yeah, well,
Make sure you go to you want to give him a contact. Call him at 800-847-1291. That's 800-847-1291. His email is sanu777@gmail. PayPal, make sure you go to kemetearth@gmail and put in friends and family in order to send some love. You don't have Cash App, so don't expect the Cash App. And of course, we have our special guest with us, the one, the only Dr. Shakirah F. Moore. Of course, our co-host, give her a round of applause. Also, mother, master iridologist for the future, natural health practitioner, martial artist now. She's training now. And that's what we need our sisters to do. Make sure you hit her up with info.
Well,
And,
hello.
She trying to peek.
oh,
She's
come on in. Come on in. What's up, baby
Hello.
girl? You know who that is? You know who that is?
No, who's that little one?
Our daughter, look at her.
This
Beauty.
is the student of ISM.
That's one of the student family in the school. Look at her.
That's
Hello,
Dr. Phil. He created the school. Him and Dr. Nalani.
That's Dr. Phil right there, Mom. That's her. That's one of the creators of the school. One day you're going to create your own school there.
That's right. She's beautiful.
She's beautiful. Yeah, and you know, Phil, she's born the same day as Maya Angelou and Jill Scott.
That's done. That's
you know she's powerful.
deal,
you know she's powerful now. Now you know she's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Take care, beautiful devil. They give her a round of applause. What's your daughter's name again? Please say it again. Ambria. Big O. And matter of fact, why I also have Dr. Shakirah on here, because there's a testimony that she has about what happened in your school that transformed that little child into a well-read child. So
really?
Dr. Shakirah, speak about what happened and what you told me over the phone about her being able to speak at a certain grade level when coming out of ISM homeschooling, please.
Yes. Well, my daughter did go to public school for kindergarten, and then I put her in ISM for first grade. Mm-hmm. She went into ISM, Institute School of Mastery, not reading fluently. And she left like by the end of 2022, this year, I have to hide my phone now. She can read, everything. And so the law in Pennsylvania, you have to have a evaluator come and evaluate the child to see how well they're doing, how well you're homeschooling, so that you can be approved for that new school year. Well, the evaluator came in, or she did it on Zoom, and she expected my daughter not to know how to read. I guess that's kind of normal for a child going into second grade, not reading fluently. Mm-hmm. And so the evaluator said, Ambria, let's see if you can read, whatever book that they chose. And my daughter has a sassy way about her. So she said, what you mean? I know how to read. So she picked up the book, and then the teacher said, well, let's see. I mean, she was reading fluently, even larger words. The teacher, even though she didn't say it, she was just so shocked. So she started throwing things at her, like, spell this, say this. And, my daughter loves science. I really noticed that in this school year. And so she loves learning about matter. So she was like, name all the three forms of matter. And she answered it just like that: solid, liquid, and gas. And so, she was just blown away. Of course, she didn't express it, but of course, she passed the evaluation with flying colors. And I have to thank ISM, of course, because
get that around the applause. Yes. Get that around the applause. Yes. Now, before we go on, Baba, would a child that come out of your school and then go back to public school and then shows that potential in front of those teachers, would they have to be? The parents have to be fearful of that? Because I know that's what that whole post-traumatic slavery was all about. And, being afraid of showing the power and the greatness of our children, because they would definitely come after them. So what do you say about that?
That you find that I found that even in Catholic school, because when I was when I came back from Trinidad after going through the British system, I was 2 to 3 years ahead of the children in reading comprehension and math. And they began to kind of stultify the growth of what it is that I wanted to do. I began to drift. And the problem is that your child, after she sees, or after her genius is opened up and flowers, there's nothing to water it. There's no light or sunshine to maintain it in these schools. They just darken the atmosphere within. They do not nurture it with the healing waters of love and concern for the child and so forth. And then the interest diminishes, and the genius begins to look for other ways to express itself. And that's when you have children that break away. They don't want to deal with the school system. It happened with the boys. Boys began leaving the school system because it began to become more oriented to the girls.
I'm a product of that, sir. I left school. I just went to take GED. I got tired at 17.
And so the trades now have become a kind of an opening for the young boys. The young girls are going through and getting their PhDs and so forth, and the entire college, the entire education system now is graduating girls at the tune of 75%
Right.
over boys. And if you want to go up into the PhDs, it's 65% to 68% of all of the people receiving it are the women, are the young women. So the boys now are going into more tactile and things that deal more into like automotive, into the sciences, what they call the STEM fields: science, technology, electronics, and mathematics. So right now, for her to actually, the one thing you don't want her to get into and too caught up into is women's studies, because that's when they begin to twist the mind of the young child. And then you don't want her to get into the women's studies based upon feminism, because feminism is actually now suffused through the entire school system, and it's teaching young girls. 85% of the school debt are held by women, and they can't pay it off because the jobs, the curriculums they choose do not pay the high prices, the high what do you call it, the high what do you call it?
You mean the high you mean from the jobs you're talking about?
Yeah, when you call it, when you get the high
Salary,
pay,
salary.
that's
Yeah.
the word. They don't have the high salaries when they want to talk about women's studies. You graduate with a women's studies degree, and then they complain about the fact that women are not getting the same amount of money as men. Well, if you're doing the same thing that men do, who do all the dangerous jobs, I don't see them complaining about bricklaying. 98% of all bricklayers are men. Why aren't they complaining about getting in on the bricklaying? They want the CEO. They want to go up there and say that, we're not getting the opportunity. But this is not our sisters. It's the European women.
That's right.
And they're setting the trend for how women are to think about what is valuable. And they don't look at being the wife, the builder of homes and communities anymore, or do what the Filipino women do, as I'm in contact with brothers and sisters over there. They go and get their PhD, but they don't ever forget to come home and be mothers. Why? Whereas,
Bobby, you've been writing about this for years in this book, sir.
That book, yes.
You got it
in the book.
Yes, it's
And
in the
they
book.
never, and I mean, talking with them, it's like, well, I don't know. They're perplexed at the women over here, that they don't want to be wives, and they say they don't bring anything. These women over there in the East are geniuses, but they teach their children. They go home, but when they come through the door, they drop all of that and they become the home. They're just different. So
Baba, hold on 1 second. Let's dovetail into, because you're saying something that you've been writing about and been damn near prophesizing for years about, and now education across the board, whether it's in music, theater, and all that, they are about to release this movie. And we know what this is about on another level. And I want you to, I know you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. They just released the preliminaries of it, the movie, because when my ex-wife was there at the special guest viewing with all the cast is going to be there. She did texted me and showed me all pictures. I'm like, okay, that's cute. But now that's going to be another education they're trying to promote through movies, because you've been a decoder for years. You and KT decode movies. What do you feel about what they're trying to do?
Listen, they're just like in the Marvel movies. My son, and because I taught him, he got into Marvel because I was into Marvel. I drew for Marvel at one point.
You drew for Marvel?
I did 2 characters that got stolen from me.
Wow, they always steal it from you. They always steal it from you. Music, and they
a whole other story. I was young. I was naive. I was into just doing my art. But I don't know, if you look at the back of the book and the sacred woman.
Yes.
The one that you see, the one that looks like the female that has all of the different headdresses of the ancient Kemetic, the ancient Neter.
Yes.
If you go to the back of the book and look at the 12 principles of the sacred woman that I had written for Afua when we created the sacred woman, that's my artwork. It's unfinished, but that was one of my artworks that I had done. That was going to be a poster,
Right.
but I just did the penciling and put it into the book. But yeah, I did a lot of artwork. At 13 years of age, I was given a scholarship to the Brooklyn Museum Art, and my mother was called and by one of the teachers there who came out of France. I think he came from France, and he said that he can't teach me anything at this point. And my mother was saying, "Well, was this racism?" You know, she says, "No, you can't. Your son at his age, he doesn't teach us. So what they do? They had me proxy teaching all these adults when I was over there telling, when he left the room, I'm the one who used to give the adults some ideas about what to do.
Right.
And then I got turned down at the point where there was a Sarah something, I forgot the name. They were Sarah Barton, no, not Sarah Barton. There was a college where it was all female and they were about to make it co-ed. And
you mean Clara Barton?
No, not Clara Barton.
Well, that's the high school, Clara Barton. That was
this was one of the colleges.
Right.
And I brought my portfolio there, and my mother came with me, and they were saying, "Okay, well, we want to get into the art program." When the white woman was looking at me and she looked at my artwork, she said, "You did this?" Didn't believe it, and they refused me getting into the school.
Wow.
And my mother was livid. She wanted to write to the mayor. She wanted to write to all. I mean, that's another part of my life.
But I know I broke your wisdom, but you was talking about this. Yeah. What you think is the intention of this particular movie?
Well, the first thing is we are being bombarded with the feminization of entertainment at this particular time. Okay. All Marvel right now is diminishing the masculine role and giving it to the woman. Now, if you knew anything about the Dahomey women, yes, they were warriors, and yes, they were. In fact, that's where they took Black Panther and the so-called, his guard. They took it from the story of the Dahomey women. Yeah, but behind them were the men. But there was no way they were going to fight to protect. They were just there as the guardians, as people who essentially would protect the king. They were fierce, yes, but it was the men that always backed them up. There was no way that they were going to let those women, frail as they were, go in there to fight against men without any backup. Fierce they were, yes, but what they were doing is blowing this particular story out of proportion. And then again, if you look at the trailer, it was about diminishing the male part as the king and her taking over because of either his cowardice or his lack of ability or incentive to act, because she knew that the European was there to conquer, which everybody at that time also knew. And that brings up the part with Nzinga.
Yes. We talked, me and you spoke about it offline.
Yeah,
but
most people don't know that Nzinga had like 4 or 5 husbands. He was so powerful. But she really disliked male power. And she used to dress her men in women's clothes.
What? Nzinga?
Nzinga.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't know these little things that as far as, we want to latch on to the great things that they did, and nobody's taking anything away from her kicking the Portuguese's ass.
That's right.
But these nuances, most people don't understand it. When a woman turns into a warrior like that she's turning in, she's taking on masculine energies. It isn't like, because a lot of the men were either destroyed or were killed off, and she had to step up and take that role. And nobody's taking that away from her. But there were little nuances, and now bringing this to the fore. What happened to Shaka Zulu? Why wasn't his story told? Why wasn't the story of the Zulu who gave hell to the European for 50 years? And his father before him, Getswayo, who kicked the living crap out of the British at that time. Why aren't we seeing that? Or why was Tahaka when Will Smith
Will Smith tried to do it.
wanted to get Tahaka to put that in, and then they brought us with this crap with the gods of Egypt and the rest of this crap that we see with pale Europeans in 102-degree weather, and they're the ones that are in. It's ridiculous. So,
no, but Baba, let me ask you a question, because I remember Chancellor Williams wrote in a book, "Destruction of Black Civilization." He seemed to have hinted that Alexander the Great didn't come into Ethiopia because of the Candaces of that time.
Yeah, the Candace.
Yeah, Candace. How true is that story about those warrior women?
It was very true. And in fact, when he went into India, they tell him that he had conquered India. He only got into India and was chased out after that. In fact, when he tried to go to Ethiopia, he came into Ethiopia, but the Candace, who was the wife of the king at that time, because he could not leave based upon his station, he did not leave the and I don't remember the true story whether or not he was ill or she took over, but there was a group, the Candace were the warrior women who would take over and defend the realm with the soldiers. Now, what had happened was, I don't know if this is legend or not, but when Alexander came to Ethiopia to conquer Ethiopia, Candace and her army were littered across the hills, because Ethiopia is hills.
Right.
And all along the hills, deep, were these warriors. And from what I understand, Candace was standing on top of an elephant.
There was all elephants, yes.
And when he saw this, he said, "Oops." And he said, "Nah." At that time now, Kemet was very weak. So he turned his forces back towards Kemet and conquered Kemet. He left Ethiopia alone.
How true is the story of him being a son of one of the gods, like Zeus, and how true is that so-called story?
Well, his Macedonian, no, he was the son of a Macedonian king by the name of Philip.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's your name, sir.
He was the son of Philip, the Macedonian king, and he was not Greek, he was Macedonian. And in fact, his closest general was Crispus. And it was Crispus who actually saved his life, because when he went up against the Persians, the Persians were about, he thought that when he went charging, because he was an impetuous son of a bitch, he said, "Oh no, we are this and we're great and I'm this and I'm blessed by the gods." And he did have his way, but then he took off with his horse and he was by himself. The rest of the people, his army, didn't follow him. It was Crispus that said, "Come on, let's go rescue this fool." Because as he was charging towards the Persian line, they were about to take him out. So it was Crispus that saved his life so that he could go on and become the so-called great. But then what did he do in a drunken stupor? In a drunken stupor, he killed his best friend, which was a black man. All right? And that's when he went into this incredible depression and didn't care who it is, died, didn't care who it was that ruled the kingdom after that. And that's when Ptolemy Soter, one of his generals, took over.
A lot of powerful history. Baba Phil Valentine is in the mother flipping building. Y'all better get it right. Go ahead, Dr. Shakirah. Go ahead. Do your thing. Ask your Let's go. I know you learned and you writing.
I'm I learned a lot in that that short time, especially about Queen Nzinga.
Well, I mean, you don't want to get the downside. I just put that in there to let you understand.
Right.
Who was human too and had a life.
So, I do have a question now that bring that up. Would you say, because when women take on that warrior-like attitude or that stance, can the woman balance the divine feminine and the divine masculine within without compromising one or the other?
It's very difficult, especially if the environment instigates the fact that she has to maintain her fight or flight mode. You see, her body, you have to understand that males and females create testosterone.
Right.
And in the female, she goes through a conversion process through the aromatase process that goes into progesterone and then into the tripartite of what we call estrogen. Estriol, estrione, and estrogen itself. There's three parts to what we call the conglomerate called estrogen. If the aromatase process is not allowed to convert testosterone, then it depends, because there's two different. If you read in my book, you'll see that there's endogenous testosterone and exogenous testosterone. A lot of time, the exogenous testosterone doesn't affect the femininity and what we call the empathy, the feminine empathy, the mother wit energy of the woman. However, she will then grow what is called vellus hair. Sometimes you see a woman and
beards and all
hair,
that.
very, very tiny hair growing down here, down her back, and even has a little mustache, but she's very feminine. That's because the testosterone hasn't entered into the cell to change her nature. That's exogenous testosterone toxicity, as you read in the book. Endogenous testosterone toxicity, and of course, these are my terms, is when the testosterone starts affecting the cell nucleus. And immediately she begins to take on the temperament of a male. She's very impatient, which is some of the parts that she's impetuous, she's combative, and of course that then becomes part of her nature, which completely vitiates the feminine side of her. And she's always looking for stimulation, more stimulation. Sex at that time is very difficult for her to reach orgasm through just regular penetration. That's why she begins to use the little penis, the vestigial penis, more than anything else. And women like that, you can tell, masturbate a lot. You can tell because, especially young girls, you'll see when I put it there, they have scientific proof that young girls who masturbate a lot break out and end up with a lot of acne. And so when you start messing with the clitoris, that's like serious kind of, what do you call it? Whereas there is a vaginal and the vagina here, there's a pad behind the vagina, a very rough pad right there that they call the G spot.
G spot, yeah.
The gaffing spot. That orgasm is more related towards the feminine. It encompasses the entire body. It heats the entire body and maintains that estrogenic connection to her nature. But the clitoris, which is a vestigial penis, which didn't grow until the last 25, 30,000 years, because of the fact that the embryo, when the forming of the male and the female, you notice that there's the Gaffian follicle and the Wolffian duct. The Wolffian duct is what creates the penis and the testicles. The Gaffian follicle grows laterally to create the eggs. Now, what has happened to us as part of the fall, is that it instead of growing the Gaffian follicle and then growing the womb, the extension stops at the clitoris. The clitoris is an outgrowth based on the fall. Just like the prepuce that is over the penis head at the birth, that is an extension of the vulva. And that's why the ancestors cut it off. And that's why they used to use these technologies that the women had when they knew that their body was degenerating. They had created these technologies where, you know how when your baby was born, they used to tie off the umbilical and then it would dry up and then fall off? That's what they used to do to the clitoris. But it wasn't this, they call it the female
circumcision
or the female mutilation.
Right.
That only happened when the invasion of the European and the destruction of all the knowledge that the Africans had about how to maintain their biostasis, that was gone. And all of this is not being taught because you have women who now feel that they're feeling that masculine. There's nothing like feeling like the masculine energy. We love the knockheads, bang, boom, and it becomes a rush for women. It's like a drug.
Mhm.
And what our elders would do to smack us around as boys to forge us into men. Now women want to become part of that.
Yeah, I do see a lot of I seen this female wrestler, and somebody had commented under it and said, "This is black girl magic here. This is, us. This is woman history." And I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree.
No, there's no way. The
No.
combat was always about men showing their prowess in order to impress the female, in order to mate. Women didn't go into the ring to beat the hell out of one another to impress men, unless the men were pretty sick.
That's not impressive. Exactly.
That ain't impressive. It's ridiculous.
Right.
In fact, when I see women beating up on one another, I get sick.
Right. Yeah, I never wanted to compete. As far as I only trained just to,
Protect yourself.
protect myself.
No. But listen, Wing Chun. What Bruce Lee learned.
Wing Chun.
Yes.
There was the master called it Chung.
Wing Chun.
Okay.
Wing Chun.
And that was created by a woman.
Yes.
So it isn't that you are helpless, but it was feminine. Just like if you looked at the dances from East Africa versus the dances from West Africa. The dances from West Africa were yang. The women those are warrior dances. And you see them those all warrior dancing. You look at the East one. How's the East one?
More
soft. And what do you call it? Yeah. Because they did not have the slavery. They did not go through that transitional period to fight with the European. So the women had to adopt that masculine warrior energy, fight alongside their men, and it showed up in their dances.
Wow. Yeah, we got this is education versus dedication. Education. Dr. Phil Valentine is in the building, family. Will you take a few questions real quick before you? Cause I know you got another program to jump on, and as far as saluting.
We got a little time.
You take a few questions, sir.
Yeah, sure.
No problem. Family, just remember, please contact our dear. Matter of fact, go to their websites right now and go and subscribe and all that. Of course, if you want to homeschool your child from home, they got the ismhomeschooling.org, which, of course, my sister has a great testimony. I'm so supportive. I'm so loving of that, and I'm so happy. That's why I brought her on. She's been such a great person since I met her at the Vax thing in Harlem that time.
Yes.
A blessing. Yes, that's when I first met you. Although I think your mom and them knew of me, but I never actually met you. And then, of course, uksnow.org if you want to join Dr. Phil Valentine School. And also you can get their books through there. You got Mama Valentine, the 7 Steps to Healing and Wellness. Of course, make sure you support that. Give up to Dr. Nalani Valentine, who wrote that book. And, of course, The Wounded Womb is here. You know what it is. The Wounded Womb is in the building. And they got a whole host of books on their website that they recommended reading that you want to show some love to. And again, make sure you hit him up. I believe you might have a few workshops coming up. What you got coming up, Baba, before?
Well, I'm trying to get our brothers and sisters into the economics, and a black woman, beautiful black woman, created something called Novatech.
Novatech, yes.
That the former CEO of Twitter, I believe, I'm not sure, but this is what I heard. I'm going to verify this, but from what I understand, she was given $10 million by him not to fail. And she has a lot of Europeans. She's been in Wall Street and Forex and dealing in the high level finance for the last 25 years. And she created the Novatech for us. So if you're interested in that, novatech.com, instead, it'd be best for you to get in contact with me, because I would like you to get in contact with
Brother Reggie.
Reggie.
Right. I just gave him your number. Your number's right there. So contact.
Yeah, just give him my number. And just
email.
If you want to know about Novatech, I'll get in contact with you and put you in contact with Brother Reggie. And he'll sign you up. It's a beautiful
Go to the website, family, and check it out. Very beautiful sisters, very beautiful herself. So
Yes.
Phil Valentine knows some beautiful women. Believe me, not just his wife, but the women he's dealt with in the past. People on television, y'all wouldn't even know.
Well,
Hey, let me tell you, family. I was reading Jennifer Lewis books, and when she said Dr. Phil Valentine, I said, "What?" I had to call Dr. Phil Valentine. I'm like, "What? Jennifer Lewis, the mother of Black Hollywood, just mentioned you in the book, sir. What's that all about?"
yeah, well, that was in my youth. In my youth.
Yo, she was funny on the Breakfast Club recently. She is something else.
Oh, she's a bad woman. She hasn't changed. She has not changed.
She don't get what? Don't bring a
love it.
limp anything to my house.
Yeah,
She said, "Don't bring nothing limp."
I love her. That's
She's
right.
so stupid. And she Aquarius, so I gotta love her. I give
Oh,
her
yeah.
a love. She's Aquarius like me, so I gotta love her like that. All right, so one of the questions in the chat. Let me scroll up. Always first class media. Is everything we eat today tainted? If so, how do we reverse the crisis?
Well, if you want to grow your own food in your own living room, we do
Yes.
sell what is known as the tower.
Yes.
We grow our own food in our home.
Mhm.
And if you're interested in getting the tower, you can grow leafy vegetables, melons,
Mhm.
and certain fruit from our tower. Again, call in, and if you wish to deal with the tower, with the vegetable tower or the growing tower, then you can also call at the 800 and just make sure you specify that. And also, please say your number twice and speak up into the phone. Sometimes it's very difficult, and your phone, sometimes the numbers drop out, and you only say the number once, and I don't get it, and I can't call you back.
That's
So
true.
please make sure that you speak directly into the phone, and make sure you say your number twice. We want to return your call.
Yes, yes, please. One person said, "Love Move says to me, feminists seem masculine with that argumentative energy. Makes sense." And big up to Baba TV in the building. Also, what about? Okay, this could be a good one because I spoke about that on Stone Mountain. What about the passing of Queen Elizabeth and her son taking over, calling himself King Charles? Now, Baba, you talked about the original sovereignty when Haile Selassie sat at the top of the table and they had to sit at the side. Speak about what's happening because she died right before the Ethiopian New Year. She died
Yeah.
right transition. What do you
Oh.
think what's going to happen now that went through?
Well, I wouldn't want to visit her in the part of hell that she's occupying right now.
Get that a round of applause. That's right. We wouldn't want to visit her. Go ahead, sir.
To tell you the truth,
Yes, sir.
I have a picture of she and Charles and her husband bowing down before Haile Selassie and his wife.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, because they know that Ethiopia or Kush has an unbroken line of succession
Mhm.
that circumvents even the Chinese. They can only go back 5,000 years. The Ethiopians go back 10, 20,000 years.
That's right.
Okay, because that's where so-called Egypt began. That's
Mhm.
where the Indus Kush began
Yes.
in the wonderful Ethiopians.
Mhm.
So the Queen Elizabeth was actually given that by the king that now there's a king that sits in the Philippines right now, and I don't want to call his name out, but there are 7 books that speak to the beginning of our plane of existence.
Mhm.
And she had the 7th book, which was then given. She was then given the throne because she's not British. She's from a lineage of Germans,
Mm.
Saxe-Cote,
Mhm.
and they took on the name Windsor from Windsor Castle because at the time when World War I broke out, they didn't want the British people to know, or the rest of the world to know, that they were Germans because they were going to fight the Germans.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's why Andrew, I think, was one of the Andrew, which was one of the sons. He abdicated and went over to the Nazis later on and supported the Nazis. So Elizabeth still has to be charged with the murder of, I think it was 25 children, 12 to 25 young native children from an orphanage that were taken and never seen again. They were sacrificed. She has more blood on her hands. In fact, she connected with the Vatican. They created 2 additional constitutions. She ran the constitution, which was the territorial constitution, which is why every time you paid rent or you paid any kind of mortgage, anytime you were paying it to her. So she had what is known as the territorial constitution. The Pope, who then essentially ran America through the District of Criminals, Washington, D.C., who connected to the Inns of the Court and the City of London, which was connected directly back to the Vatican. And that particular constitution was called the Municipal Constitution. The de jure Constitution, which is what we created, is in stasis right now. That's the one that belongs to us, the one that we, with the original Black 13 colonies, were trying to get away. We were the ones trying to break away from England at the time. And what we call Washington and all the rest of these people, you got to remember that the Pope said that after the Civil War, no true history of this continent, of the Western Hemisphere, would ever be spoken in the schools or ever again. And they, of course, every school book that's taught in the Western civilization, what they call Western civilization, has to first pass through the censoring of the Vatican. They pass every school book that has to do with history, it has to do with anything dealing with the beginnings, religion, all of that has to pass through the Vatican first. It is then censored or it is edited to make sure that the lie stays in place. That's what the whole Crusades was about, to destroy where Christianity originated, to make sure that all evidence of its origins were destroyed. And so, to Charles is just scum. Let me just tell you what this scumbag is about. Along with 2 other members, and I'm going to do something on that. They're the ones who created this whole environmental thing about the warming of the earth, earth heating up and all this. Why? Because after World War I and World War II, after World War I and World War II, the British aristocracy said, okay, we done killed off enough of the planet. All right? We have to now create an enemy to make sure that the population that we know that is existing in the United States, because the United States, of course, became so powerful that they had to circumvent and destroy them from within, which is what you're watching happening right now.
Right.
So what they did was they created this thing on environmentalism. They started talking about going to carbon zero. What is carbon zero about? It's about destroying the infrastructure, the technological and industrial infrastructure, and creating a whole new way of making sure that humans are moved out of the dispersed areas of the United States and around the world, and they would be carted into these small enclaves that would then be built up. You notice in China, they talk about these cities that have nobody occupying them. That's where they're going to be moving all the populations once this whole new world order comes into play. And so it was Charles and 2 or 3 other men. One was a Nazi. They're the ones who created this whole global warming or the Great Reset in order to bring the earth, to destroy the earth. They started it with that. That was it. Millions died. Millions were killed. We don't know that.
Right.
And now they want to do it again. They want to bring it back again. Okay? And so you're looking at Charles now, who they say was supposed to be the Antichrist. Now they say that when the Antichrist sits the throne, remember?
Yes.
that's when you begin to see the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Mm.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, of course, are represented in China, Israel, Russia, and the United States. So we're going to see now what the next stage of the plan is in place. Elizabeth died last year.
Ooh.
This is bull. They had to do it within a ceremonial time frame long before to set up, because these people work with numbers and time frames and zodiacs and so forth, which is why we're going to need Brother King Simon and Brother Strayhorn more than ever now, because these numbers that they're going to be using and what they're going to be instigating along numbers with numbers, a long number is going to be very pivotal to us preparing ourselves. Okay, and you said that Elizabeth owns 1/6 of all the land planet.
Is that's what somebody said?
Of course, but that's not going to last long, because the evil will come up and it will reign for a short period of time. There will be desolation, starvation. Look at what they got. Your boy Bill Gates buying up property. All the billionaires are buying up and privatizing our land. So I tell people, get your food together.
Yeah.
Get your water together. Get your weapons together, and be prepared. Because you saw what Biden did. He stood up there looking like Adolf Hitler in a minute. And it ain't really Biden. Remember, it's Obama running the show. Obama he's a meat puppet of Obama. Obama got a 3rd term.
Through Biden.
And look at this war. They say that how we're at war right now with the Ukraine, in the Ukraine. We're helping them, the Ukraine. And who are the Ukrainians? They're the ones that gave Biden $1.5 billion along with the Chinese. It was the Burisma deal, the energy deal, that his son was brokering, his crack smoking son was dealing with. And he came out and said himself that he shut down the investigation into his son's dealings with the mafia at that time. Now, here's the deal that most people don't know about. People are looking at what Russia is doing over in the Ukraine, and most people don't know that the Ukraine was one of the major hubs for child sex trafficking. And it was Putin who actually outed, before even Trump did, that the world is run by pedophiles. It was Putin who said that. And so what they did was Obama started building nuclear weapons facilities and biological warfare labs right there on the border of Russia. And was trying to get the Ukraine to join NATO. And that's why he moved in there. Now, the one thing most people don't know is that the Ukraine is run by a group called the Azov Nazis. So they're helping the Azov Nazis who trained Antifa, who were the ones that were destroying all of the property over here.
Wow. It's a lot going down, Baba. There's a lot going down. I mean, I know you got a webinar coming up.
No, I don't have a webinar yet coming up. I wanted to do it, but I was going to do it on the trans community. Remember, I did one at the what do you call it? To show you exactly what it looks like in the operating room and what's actually happening.
I remember you did something like that in 2017. I was there in person.
At one of my lectures I produced. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh yeah, that was.
I'm going to do it again.
First, look into that. I was like, wow.
That operation you were showing was like, what the heck?
That's when I learned the terminology M to F, F to M, and
F to M.
you were really great. That was 8 hours.
Yeah.
Curtis Course was
you know
there.
me.
Curtis was there. Curtis was
I
there.
got all this big wind right now. I'm storing up. You know.
Yeah. I think we did that at the National Black Theater, or was it at Francis?
No. It was over at
St.
St.
Francis.
Francis.
St. Francis, yes.
St. Francis,
Yeah.
St. Francis, yeah. We had St. Francis lit.
It was.
That's a Jesuit school. People don't know that's a
Yeah, I
Jesuit.
know. And I know, and it's funny because when I look back, I didn't know that the people were standing up at the back, and the whole aisle was filled up at that time. Those were great times.
We had a good time, man. They're about to move that school, and the whole school is going somewhere else. I guess they're about to move that building.
Really?
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Wow.
But yeah, Dr. Phil Valentine is in the house. Y'all family, I'm not gonna keep him because he has to head over. What are you doing? Blue Pill show?
Red Pill has invited me to come on to do
KTL Media, right? KTL.
Yeah, to give an honor to Brother Azariah. So
yes.
if he shoots me, I think he's going to shoot me the link. I'll shoot it to you.
No
and
problem.
We would love to have you on there, I guess, So
yeah, just to touch on it. Yeah, but thank you very much, Baba Phil. Of course, family, make sure you give him a call at 800-847-1291. Hit him up on his email, sanu777@gmail.com. And if you appreciate the knowledge that he drops, please go to his PayPal and use kemet@gmail.com, and please go via friends and family. Make sure you tap into that. And of course, don't forget the website. Of course, you see you heard the testimonial by our dear Dr. Shakirah. I keep on saying, I don't know why I keep on doing Shakirah more, Dr. Shakirah. And her beautiful daughter was there. That was so beautiful. She came through. And make sure you go to for his university and homeschooling. Of course, you got ismhomeschooling.org, and of course www.uksnow.org. And of course, make sure. Go ahead, brother. What you want to say?
By the way, I'm starting my next semester in October.
Okay.
I believe it's in the third week of October. I'll be starting my next semester for metaphysical psychology for adults. And if you wish to know more about it, please call the 800 number.
Oh, let's get that 800 number right back up there. There's the 800 number, family. That's right. Baba Phil, I want to thank you very much for coming on, and of course, always blessing my platform. And because we know each other for a long time, so I love you and respect you all the time. You and
much love to you too, brother, and to my sister.
Yes. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba.
Thanks, Baba. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much, family. Woo! My goodness, we have Baba Phil in the building. Dr. Shakirah.
Yes. Such powerful Jews. Always different.
Yes, it was good. And I'm glad that and I know you had more to give for that testimony. I know you had more, but tell them the importance of why homeschooling has been so. And you got her back in their school again. And you have a program, you are enjoying it, and the parents are hands-on. It's not just children sitting in front of a screen. Please tell us what you're going through as far as helping with your child's education, please.
Right. Well, first, I would like to say that it's not 8 hours of how they have it in traditional public school, or what my mother used to call the public school system. So, it's really only maybe 3 to 4 hours, but they get breaks in between. And they work with each child. They have the time to work with each child individually to nurture their needs, as opposed to having 20 students or 25 students to one teacher. One of those students are going to get lost. A lot of children don't function or operate in that kind of setting. And so they become withdrawn. They don't ask for help. These are the students that become adults that get lost in the system. So they are so hands-on, and they want to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm so happy that, when I found out about their school, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so when I was able to do it, there was no question for me to put her and implement that kind of teaching, and for me to be a part of it as well, because their guidelines is that one of their guidelines, they say that the parent has to be present.
Right.
So we have to be present. It's not just us sitting our child in front of a computer. We have to be present and make sure that I'm showing her step by step of everything that she needs. moving forward.
I'm proud of you because you're a young mother and you're a young doctor and and I really numbers is just age is just a number, but you're an old soul that is doing some old soul energy things that we used to do this homeschooling stuff and really apply it to our children, realizing that our children learns differently. Our children learn differently. That's not what these Europeans have been teaching us, and why they would next dubbed our children ADHD and all these kind of, all this kind of stuff. So I'm proud of what you're doing and why you're doing, and I want to thank you, of course, for just being a co-host and tell them about your being a master iridologist, what you do and how you do things. Tell them about what you do with your products and your website that's on the screen. Go ahead, please.
Absolutely. So I am a master iridologist, also board certified.
Yes.
An iridologist, I'm able to look into the iris and be able to tell you before a disease passes on to a chronic or degenerative state, what's going on in the body. Okay, even at its earliest stages of disease. And then from there, you get a guideline, a plan moving forward, depending on how far along the disease is. I have different packages to help you along that journey, different herbal remedies as well, based upon what's going on with the body. And so I always suggest, to know ahead of time what's going on instead of, bombarding your body, your organs with all of these herbs, because sometimes that can be more detrimental than helpful. I've actually went through a period of that. Like a few years ago, just taking a bunch of stuff, I heard this, I heard about bladder whack, I heard about just taking a bunch of stuff. And so that can actually be worse for you than actually helpful. So iridology and it helps to pinpoint exactly what you need. It's the most accurate holistic method or modality that can actually penetrate the human body to see disease in real time.
See, the eyes are the windows to the soul, but windows to your health also. Let's give that round of applause. So appreciative. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit her up via email, her website also, and spread love. She's also a martial artist, but she has a feminine exudity about herself, if that's a word. I just made that up properly. That she just gives off that energy. So big up to her. She's doing what she has to do, and I'm proud of what she's doing in this realm and in all over the place. And that's so interesting that you're born the same day as Donald Trump, and
I know.
and Dr. Wesley Muhammad, he's also born. So anytime you have that discipline, undisciplined, you would be like Trump if you're undisciplined. But a discipline, y'all need to keep that discipline.
Yeah.
Because Trump is just like a spoiled brat with bombs around who he's ready to press things. But thank you very much for coming on and co-hosting with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime you need. And matter of fact, family, her and I, we're working on a mental health therapist. We're gonna do a online workshop, private workshop. We can probably charge like $77 to $99, $77 early bird tickets, $99 late birds that fly in late, But we're working on it. We're setting it up. We're just throwing it out there. But if you want to get this knowledge of numbers, iridology, and mental health, and how it all works out, and how we all can be using these talents and these gifts that we have, and learning it for yourself, even if you have to go to school. So there's an iridologist out there somewhere, there's a numerologist out there, and there's a mental health therapist out there. So we're going to have 3 different modalities from 3 different ways, and we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation on a private online, and we're going to make sure it's reasonable in the beginning. We're going to be like $77, and then if you want, if you come in last minute, it's going to be $99. I like to do those tier systems. Just I'm sure I might even start it at 55, then 77, and then boom, 99 last minute. That's how we can do it. That's and what do you think about that, beautiful?
I love it. I told you I'm on board. It's time.
She's one of my partners now. Don't stop playing. Don't stop playing. We air signs. We about to air this thing out.
Mental health is at an all-time high. So much going on. So definitely, I'm looking forward to bringing this to the people. And I appreciate everyone who who's watching, who watched the show. I got a watch it again because
over 300 people came in and chimed in on Facebook and on YouTube, because I had 2 Facebook pages up and 2 YouTube pages, and that was a lot of people. So enough respect to both those apparatus and those platforms. And again, Dr. Shakirah Moore, thank you very much for being on with me. Okay, beautiful. And
I appreciate you.
We will talk after. We'll talk later. Okay. You're welcome.
Peace and love, family. Power.
Right. Peace and love. All right. That's our dear one, Dr. Shakirah Moore in the building. All right. Let's close out, family. Let's close out. Again, make sure you support Baba Phil Valentine. We're going to be on KTL Media saluting the late, great brother Azariah Bey, the mayor of Harlem. This brother, he just transitioned yesterday, and today is his Earth Day. He transitioned yesterday, and today is his birthday. Big up to my brother. He used to take people through the cemeteries to show people love. Big up to brother Azariah Bey, the late, great Azariah Bey now. All right. If y'all missed it, Phil Valentine spoke about this movie and what their intentions are, because he's been teaching about it through his books for years. So make sure you go to his website and make sure you go to his websites to get the book. Dr. Valentine already prophesied it through the book, what they're doing and what they're trying to do as far as, usurp and dismantle the masculine energy and destroy it in any way they can. Also, don't forget his wife's book, 7 Steps to Healing and Wellness by Dr. Nalani Valentine. Make sure you support that also. Again, this is his numbers and his email and his PayPal. He does not have Cash App, and of course, hit him up if you want any consultation or any vaccine exemption. He can help you out with that. Baba is on point doing what he got to do. And again, thank you, Dr. Shakirah Moore, master iridologist, mother, natural health practitioner, and martial artist. She also teaches classes in martial arts in the Pennsylvania area. If you want to train with her, she's very good at what she do. All right, family, if you could hold on, we're going to be closing out with Dr. Delbert Blair's prayers. If y'all could hold on, let me run these commercials down, because I got to make sure my peoples are taken care of. All right. Don't forget our beautiful sister, the one, the only, Zaza Ali, is going to be in Brooklyn. Yeah, she's going to be in Brooklyn on September the 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. Enough respect to her. That's right. Nicholas Brooklyn, 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York, right there in the Restoration Plaza. And don't forget, we got another beautiful sister that's going to be coming up. Yeah, we got this other beautiful sister that's coming up. The one, the only, Vicky Diller will return. Remember, we had to postpone it until Sunday, September the 25th. So she'll be here with us approximately at 7 o'clock, I believe, or 9 p.m. I'm trying to lock in that time, but she's definitely going to be with us this time. And just want to remind people, if you're going to come down to the Atlanta, Georgia area, look, they got Airbnbs and all that. Good. What you need to do is come on out. Let's have a good time with Baba Ashra Kwesi and Brother Red Pill. We're going to tear it up. That's going to be first time Baba Ashra Kwesi has ever been in Stone Mountain or been in Stone Mountain Village to do a lecture. And it's free parking and all of that. Go to Linktree/King Simon, the Numero Veda. That's Linktree/King Simon, the Numero Veda, not just for my links to all my events, but also to buy my books and products and all my websites. If you want to be a part of this monumental event with Baba Ashra Kwesi coming to Stone Mountain for the first time. He's been to Atlanta over there at the Shrine of the Black Madonna, but he's never been in did a lecture in Stone Mountain, and he hasn't been over here since the pandemic, so we know what it is. Vendors are welcome. No more food vendors are welcome, but vendors are welcome. If you have any other things other than food, we can hook you up. And also, big up to Professor Griff. Big up to Professor Griff. He's going to be vending there also. His new book and all the other books, You Are the Song You Sing. And don't forget, November 26th, they're going to be saluting Dr. Sabi, KT, the Arch Degree, Brother Mr. G, and the one, the only special guest, Victor Bowman, Dr. Sabi's son, will be in the building. And remember, we are working on making this happen. Ticket sales has been a little slow. Matter of fact, it has been non-done, but people ain't ready. I know people's last minute, but if you are interested in this Fort Lauderdale event for 2 days, or if you just want to come out to the one day is a special price right now. You can go right there to Eventbrite. You can go right to Eventbrite, or you can more than likely go to my link tree. It'll send you straight to the link to find out the various prices. So we got multiple prices from $111.11 to all the way up to $222 for this beautiful workshop with Billy Carson, Ellison Network, King Simon, Dina Divine, and Joshua Sarah. But if I change anything and we do it online, I'll let you know. I'd rather do the beach stuff and then but it's hard finding a venue. I don't know why around December. I guess a lot of people are booking. So that's why I might change it and just keep it moving, okay? And do it online. Teas and Tings. Last time y'all gonna get to see this. teasandtings.com, teasandthings.com. Make sure you get your vegan teas and support the sister. She's doing a great job, sexy and vegan, plant-based lifestyle and natural, vegan natural sweets, all that. I got a few of those shirts myself, so it is what it is. Big up to Lloyd Strayhorn, lloyd-strayhorn.com. He had Queen of Four on today. Last week he had early on Monday, he had the one, the only Iyanla Vanzant. Lloyd is turned up with those beautiful ladies. Lloyd-strayhorn.com. Get his books, take his services, do all of that, take his classes also. Don't forget, go to udemy.com for my introductory class into numerovation. That's an introductory class into numerovation. Make sure you support that. And don't forget, if you want the full course, 8-hour raw, uncut meal of numerovation, holistic numerovation, you got to text me the word course to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Get my books before you get my courses if you can, but if you can't, it's a really easy to go through course because I'm using chalkboard and of course I'm using PowerPoint. But you can purchase all my books through Amazon or go to linktree/King Simon, the New Motivators right there on the bottom. If you do want to book a session, I have like 7 slots left in September. If you want to book a session with me right now, I do have a waiting list going into October, but I have 7 slots available and open right now. 347-496-1022. Text me your full name and date of birth, and we can make it happen, okay? Let me turn this down because we always got to be respectful. Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised, and of course, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purpose of such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a permitted use by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, family. All right, we're getting ready to close out with Dr. Blair prayer. Are y'all ready for the prayer? Are y'all ready for the prayer, family? Are y'all ready for the prayer? Are y'all ready for the prayer? Big up to the t-shirt that I bought out there at Tassili. This one is called 100% Negos. Yeah, baby. Royalty, loyalty, and royalty in my DNA. Big up to that brother and sister that was selling these tees. Make sure I got it over there at Tassili Raw. Y'all ready for the prayer, family? All right, we need everybody to relax their soul after hearing what Phil Valentine had to drop. It's a lot of soul relaxing we're going to do with this prayer because Dr. Blair gave us this prayer over 25 years ago, and he wanted all of us to say it in unison. So enough respect to Dr. Blair. And if you want to support the legacy shop of Dr. Blair, please go to the metacenter2.com. That's the metacenter2.com and show Dr. Blair some love. The Meta Center 2, Brother Tony is really holding on and doing what he got to do. So, and if you're new to this channel, family, thank y'all for coming, man. Give y'all a well-deserved round of applause. You're new to this channel. And remember, this is King Simon Presents only quality people, and we also broadcast on these different channels. You can find us on YouTube at King Simon Presents, at The Numbers Are Simple, FB Live at King Simon, and at King Simon Production. And also you can catch me on IG. That's that's king.simon.production. All right. And if you found any of this information valuable, family, of course, those are my website right there, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com and numbersaresimple.com. Subscribe, so you know what's going on. I do a blog on my kingsimonproductions.wordpress. It is a blog. And if you did find this program very entertaining and edutaining over deducation, Please spread love via Cash App, King Simon 3158, or PayPal via King Simon. That's paypal.me/King Simon. This is a machine, and we are content creators. We are conscious content creators, and I'm keeping it all the way live. But I'm, like I said, OQP. I'm only down with OQP, only quality people. So let's get ready for the prayer from Dr. Delbert Blair. Everybody calm down, relax. Take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Go to his mental center and support him. Support our brother. They got everything, hydroponics. They got all of that they're teaching. He got his books up there, Faraday cage, all that stuff, magnetic beds, all that. Big up to Dr. Blair for leaving that legacy. But this is also a legacy for the soul and the spirit that he left. For those who have spirit and soul, respect to you. For those that only have spirit, respect to you also. Okay, and there is a difference. I just want to make sure people are clear on that. Oh, man. All right, take a deep breath. There's about 160 going into 200 people still here. This is what I do every show, family, so you know. And you can take a snapshot of this prayer that Dr. Blair left for all of us to share and say every day. Are you ready? Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. I'm going to say it one more time in a more unified manner where I include everyone in the prayer, and you could say it along with me or just listen to my voice as I'm saying it. Jali Tu. Please, Universal Creator, know in our hearts that we love you. Please protect us and this planet on which we live now. Please open our minds, our spirits, and our souls to receive only truth and your love now. Thank you, Dr. Blair. Thank you for all you have given us, all the wisdom you've given us, all the knowledge you've given us, all of that you've given us. Make sure, if you don't know who Dr. Delbert Blair is or was, make sure you go to YouTube. They got a lot of stuff up there. Even on my channel, I got my own lectures that I produce with Dr. Blair. I have it on this channel also. So make sure you go and check that out. Dr. Blair did some great lectures and workshops with me. I was the last to bring him into New York, so enough respect to Dr. Blair and his great existence. And that brother died. That brother died. That brother died caring for his people. He got poisoned, but his wife died from the poison only because she ate the majority of the food and he just ate a little bit. So he got poisoned just a little, but she ate all the food, and that's how she got terminally ill. So he lost his wife. I think he lost his wife in this. So, and Dr. Blair, one of the truths about Dr. Blair used to love to dance to Spanish music. And I remember bringing him to New York, and he went to SOBs. I wasn't able to make it, so I put him on the guest list and had him go and dance. And he had the orthopedic shoes and everything, and still was dancing to. He loves salsa music, and SOBs has a salsa night. And I sent him down there, and Dr. Blair really enjoyed salsa music. I remember so much about all my elders that I've encountered, and I have Brother Asir coming in. Asir the Duke of Tears will be coming. The Sultan himself will be coming in on October. Let me check my calendar. You know, I got my calendar. Stop playing. Let me just run down what I have coming up. I didn't put it up yet. Phil Valentine. The 18th, I might do something, but that's my son's birthday, so I might do something with him. September 21st, Ashwa Kwesi will be here with me that whole week. I think Ashwa Kwesi is going to be with me, Professor Griff, Brother Rich, wherever they set him up. Then I got Vicky Dillard on the 25th. And then I got Abdul Mosi Bey from the Moorish Paradigm coming in. My brother Abdullah Mosi Bey will be in the building. And then on the 2nd of October, we're gonna speak about the changing of the guards. Changing of the guards. We are the new elders. Brother Asaya, the Duke of Tears, due to everybody that's transitioning and all that, going through what we're going through with a lot of the elders passing on. We are the new elders. I am one of the new elders. Red pill, blue pill, Brother Rich, we are the new elders of this. So we're going to accept that gauntlet, like Phil Valentine said earlier in this broadcast. I mentioned it to him. He said, yeah, we have to keep that light shining, and I got to pass it on to other younger generations. I got to pass on my numerovation. So if you really want to study and learn how to apply this science from multiple levels, because I teach it from a simplistic way, so you can get it all. And again, it's really after you've done my classes, then it's up to you where you want to go with it, and are you willing to take it to that next level? Whether you study in gematria, whether you study in Kabbalah, whether you study in Chaldean, Pythagorean, Chinese, Japanese, I Ching numerology, they got all of those type of numbers can be connected to everything if you know how to apply it. I just choose to numerovate you. That's why my book behind me right there, Numerovation for Mental Stability, that's why I wrote that book, because I'm here to numerovate you and take you to help you to at least activate your numbers that's connected to you, which is your birthday and your name. And hopefully you'll maximize it, but it does take work. I can't stress that it does take work, but you got to be willing to put in that work. All right? Family, have a great day, afternoon, and evening. Get ready to get over to KTL right now and join them and show some love to Brother Azariah, the late, great Azariah Bey. This brother here just transitioned yesterday, and today is his birthday. He was in his critical cycle. And it's interesting. A lot of people that y'all know that's been transitioning, you can say they're in a critical cycle. They was in a health cycle. You know, when I start breaking down the numbers and showing you, even PNB, that rapper that just died, he was in one of those cycles, man. That, you know, one of those, he was in a 4-year cycle, I believe, which is a weird, unusual situation might have taken place or whatever. But numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. And this brother supported my numerology. I supported his books. And like I said, there's only one regret I have, and that was not running him down to come and get him back, because I was there monitoring the door and I couldn't leave. And then Brother Rich said we could have probably put him in. But, you know, I did try to apologize to the brother for that. And I really, really tried. And I even reached out to Majade and to find out what's going on with him. But she just told me that's the type of person he is sometimes, you know. So love and light to Brother Azariah. I hope he forgives me in the spiritual realm. I hope you forgive me. And I'm going to mention that on Brother KTL's show too next. All right, family, I'm out of here. Thank you very much. Regardless of land, label, or language, like Dr. Khaled said, there's but one creative force within all of us and work through all of us. And like Marcus Mosiah Garvey says, up you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. One love, one aim, one destiny. Peace.
Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Go now. On Sunday, October 9th, in Stone Mountain Village from 2 to 7 p.m., Papa Ashwa Kwesi and the Red Pillar will be in Stone Mountain. Get your tickets through Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator, or text now at 347-496-1022. Get your tickets now. It's the Numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022, and get my books on Amazon now. Hey, remember, you can get my books also through Linktree.